Morocco. The Moroccan military says they went missing around 9 p.m. Saturday, and the U.S., Morocco, and other countries have launched a search and rescue operation. AFRICOM says the War Games exercises began in April in Tunisia and were also in Ghana and Senegal before Morocco, where they're scheduled to wrap up soon. AFRICOM says they've involved active duty members of different branches of the U.S. military and would not say what unit or branch the missing service members belong to. I'm Donna Warner.
The World Health Organization says a suspected hantavirus outbreak on a cruise ship in the Atlantic has killed 3 people, sickened at least 3 others. News and analysis, townhall.com. This year's fastest 2 minutes in sports was watched by a record audience over the weekend.
Golden Temple's victory in Saturday's 152nd running of the Kentucky Derby averaged 19.6 million viewers on NBC and Peacock. It was the most viewed run for the Roses since Nielsen began tracking average audiences in 1988. According to preliminary data from Nielsen and Adobe Analytics, the audience peaked at 24.4 million. Jose Ortiz rallied Golden Temple from 12th as they approached the stretch to win by a neck over Renegade. The win made Cherie DeVoe the first woman to train a Kentucky Derby winner. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
President Trump is promising to release new UFO records. He says they'll be very interesting. Also says the files will be coming very soon after he directed the Pentagon to share documents relating to UFOs and extraterrestrial life. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Okay. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVDF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests.
It's time for Middleboro Matters on WVDF 1530 AM and 99.7 FM. Hosted by Joey Driscoll. Call in at 508-822-1106. And now, here is Joey Driscoll with Middleboro Matters.
20 million people. Wow. Nearly 20 million people tuning into the Kentucky Derby this weekend. Wow. 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 What a number. And that is some really good news for the sport, and also really good news for the networks as well, for NBC. Wow, that was a good race too. I tuned in. What a great race! The eventual winner, Golden Tempo, coming from dead last to first to win. The jockey. As well, his brother finished second, so it was him and his brother finishing 1 and 2. Cherie DeVoe winning as the first female trainer to ever win a Kentucky Derby as well. So a lot of history was made at the Kentucky Derby this week. We'll talk a little bit this weekend. We'll talk a little bit more about what's next for the Triple Crown during our sports segment here. We have a lot of local stuff to get to today on today's show. And your phone calls, 508-822-1106. 508-822-1106 is the number to call. Let's start off with talking a little bit about our blood drives. We have a couple of blood drives coming up here towards the end of May. We had one back on Saturday at Middleboro High School. There will be a couple coming up towards the end of May. The first one, Tuesday, May 26th at Morton Hospital inside the main building, 88 Washington Street in Taunton, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And on the same day as well, from noon to 5 p.m., it's going to be a blood drive at Norton Public Library, 68 East Main Street in Norton, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. for that blood drive. Then on Wednesday, the 27th of May, at Holy Cross Church, 225 Purchase Street, Southeastern, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. for that blood drive. And then we have Saturday, the 30th of May, at Tri-Town Sonic Lodge, 38 Franklin Street in East Bridgewater, 7 a.m. to noon for that blood drive. And if you want to sign up for any of these blood drives, just go to redcross.org and search any of these up, and you can sign up for these as well. Or if you're unable to make any of these but still want to give blood, you can give blood at the donation centers in Kingston and in Raynham as well. So I want to mention that. I always mention that at least once a week, sometimes a little bit more than that, because blood drives are pretty important, very important actually. And the Red Cross trying to get the word out on blood drives as well. There have been times throughout the year where they've mentioned that they're at a tough spot when it comes to the blood supply as well. So if you're able to give blood, definitely go and do so. I know everyone can't give blood, but if you're able to and you want to, definitely do so. I know that there's new guidelines as well that were I announced this several years ago when they announced it, but there's new guidelines as of several years ago about mad cow disease as well and giving blood. So that is something that is important to look up as well. Anyway, we talked about the blood drives. We have a lot to get to today. One of the things is tonight, if you're in Middleboro, either you can watch this on television or go down to the town hall and be there yourself for this meeting. It's the town select board meeting today. It's going to be a big one. The budget will be talked about today. The Middleboro has had some issues with their budget. The former town manager, as Ron mentioned, had come up with a budget, and when he left, the interim was taking a look at the budget and said, we need to make some changes here. So that is what will be presented tonight, is that particular budget. So that should be very, very interesting. It should be an interesting meeting. If you're in Middleboro and want to attend that meeting, it's at the town hall. Or if you want to watch it, it's going to be on one of the local channels there on MacCam, local channels there. I believe the government one is where it's going to be. I think for Verizon at least, I think it's like channel 34, I believe. Off the top of my head, I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I think it's channel 34 for Verizon. I don't know what it is for Comcast. But yeah, that's a big meeting tonight. Also, they're going to be talking about the search for a new town manager as well. The school committee is going to be something to watch as well over the next couple of weeks and months as they look into a new superintendent. Ron also mentioned this in the past hour as well. They are looking at putting in an interim school committee, school superintendent. There we go. And that's going to be for this upcoming school year, the September 2026 to June 2027 school year. So stay tuned for that. I don't know. Ron, did they make a decision or are they going to be making a decision on that?
Concerning what?
The school superintendent.
They've made a decision. They're going to do an interim for the next year, and then it'll give them more time to get a.
Did they announce that?
Yes, they had a vote last Thursday.
Okay.
Where they announced they're going to seek an interim superintendent.
But they didn't name anybody.
No.
Okay. So
it's too early in the process.
Okay, so they haven't named anybody, but they are going to be seeking an interim person to come in. So when we have that information, we will definitely give that to everybody as well. So those are the two big things going on as well. Also, a third issue going on with Middleboro is a potential issue with the fire chief as well. I'll wait to talk about that to see how that kind of shakes out over the coming weeks. So we'll be talking about that. If there's any update on that, we'll be talking about that too over the coming weeks too. But a lot going on in Middleboro. Also, town meeting is next month as well. We'll talk a little bit about that too. But if you're in Middleboro and have some thoughts about all of these things, give us a call. 508-822-1106, 508-822-1106 is the number. Let's take a quick commercial break right now. When we come back, I will talk about town meeting and when that's going to be. And we'll go from there. We'll talk about some other local events as well. And much more. And your phone calls, 508-822-1106. We'll be right back.
Hi neighbor, Middleboro Gas Electric would like to share a quick safety tip with you. Whether you're planting shrubs or putting in a new mailbox, DigSafe will help locate underground pipes and wires on your property and mark them to help prevent any damage. Before you dig, you must call 811 for any project that requires digging, drilling, excavating, grading, or trenching. A damaged gas line may create an explosion hazard that could result in loss of service, severe property damage, or worse. Don't take a chance. Call 811 before you dig.
Okay. 278.
Hi, I'm Chris Keach of the Morning Wake Up News here at WVBF. My good friend Joey Driscoll has an amazing program all about Middleboro Sunday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. It's called Middleboro in Review. He talks about sports. He talks about local events in Middleboro and anything of interest in Middleboro and beyond. So join him, Middleboro in Review with Joey Driscoll, Sunday morning, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. only here at AM 1530 WVBF and at 99.7 FM.
Voices of Our Region is a live, community-centered radio program that explores the rich cultural histories and contributions of the diverse populations that have shaped southeastern Massachusetts. It's hosted by Louis Laura Fridays and airs from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at AM 1530 and 99.7 FM WVBF. Join Louis for some great hometown conversations, stories, and interviews with people about the traditions that continue to define our area. That's Voices of Our Region with Louis Laura from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here on your hometown radio station, WVBF.
WVBF is your hometown radio station. And one of the things we like to do to support people in your hometown is to run community announcements. If you do belong to a nonprofit group or organization, or if you're an official with a city or town government, send your community announcements along to our email address. It's safe, it's fast, and allows us to get right back to you if we have a question. Send your community announcements to WVBF1530@hotmail.com. That's WVBF1530@hotmail.com. Thank you for listening. Your hometown radio station is AM 1530, WVBF at 99.7 FM.
And welcome back. I turned down the bumper music. There we go. 11:18 a.m. And for town meeting for Middleboro, that will be held on June 1st, 2026 at 7 p.m. at the Middleboro High School, 71 East Grove Street. And that is according to Middleboro News on Facebook. So there you go. Again, as I mentioned, today's meeting, today's town meeting, town board selectmen meeting, there we go, is an important one as the budget will be talked about here a lot for that. So there you go. Wanted to definitely mention all of that. So moving on now, as we go over to some other local stuff happening. Today, if you're in Lakeville, the assessor's office is going to be closed today, and that will be open tomorrow. Payments and paperwork may be submitted in the exterior drop box located near the entrance of the town office building. Submissions will be addressed when the office reopens tomorrow. So if you're looking to go down there, if you're in Lakeville and listening to us and happen to have any business going on at the Lakeville Assessor's Office, well, tomorrow will have to be the day you do that since it's closed today. It doesn't give a reason as to why it's closed, but it will be closed today and reopen tomorrow. So there we go. Definitely wanted to mention that as well. So let's move over here to some other stuff. As mentioned by Ron and by me as well, this weekend was a pretty tough weekend for Boston sports. But as I mentioned on Sunday, I think the panic that a lot of people are showing for our sports teams might be a little bit unwarranted. Now, the reason why I say this, at least for some of the teams, for the Red Sox, fine, I get it. I get why people are panicking about the Red Sox. They are not a good team. I do not consider them a playoff team at this point. They could very well, the way it's going, they could very well lose 100 games. I really don't want to see that. I hope it doesn't happen, but they could very well lose 100 games. Just saying that right now off top here. Yes, I get the panic there with the Red Sox. The rest of the teams, not really. The Boston Celtics were not at 100% as well. Tatum was out for Game 7. So even if Tatum played in Game 7, Joel Embiid, regardless of how healthy he was a man on a mission. And the 76ers were men on a mission. They were not going to be denied. They just played better. Once Joel Embiid came in, it gave the 76ers this boost that they really desperately needed. And the Celtics had no answers. They just had zero answers for him. And that's how they won. Now, a lot of people are saying that this was going to be a down year for the Celtics. The fact they made the playoffs kind of surprised people. People were saying this was going to be a down year. Tatum had been out most of the year. Tatum, again, was out for Game 7 as well with issues again. But, the way the Celtics responded this year, they're going to be proud of what they did this year. They really do. This is not a panic type situation. I know people maybe have higher expectations for the Celtics. Going into the season, maybe I did too. But, those expectations were tampered a little bit, and I expected this year to be a little bit tougher year. And it was. And even if we did win the 76ers game 7, and went on to face the New York Knicks, we'd get swept. We would absolutely get swept by the New York Knicks. We'd absolutely get swept. Case in point, Game 6 against the Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, they won that game by 50 points. So they were probably going to do that to us in one of those games. So the New York Knicks are very, very good. They're probably the team that might come out in the East. I don't foresee them winning the NBA Finals because the Oklahoma City Thunder are still there. I really do believe the Oklahoma City Thunder have a shot at repeating this year. I think they will. We'll see what happens. The Lakers are still there. The Lakers are doing very, very well. The Lakers are actually overachieving, in my opinion, for what I expected them to do. They're in the second round. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, no panic really should be taken with the Celtics. They will reload this offseason. Tatum will be back to 100%. Brown will still be here. You got some great young pieces on this team as well. You got some great players here. You really do. Derek White played amazing in Game 7. He did. He played amazing in Game 7. It's just too bad that there were some other guys in there that should have played a little bit better, but they didn't. And the fact that we took about 700 threes is absolutely ridiculous as well. I don't know what Joe Mazzulla was thinking, taking those threes. I don't know the game plan. I don't know what they were thinking with that game plan. But that wasn't going to work. I think the fact that it didn't work in the first quarter should have meant that they should have changed the game plan going forward instead of sticking with it. But they did, and that's why you lost. You took way too many threes, and all of those threes, some of them were close. They were good shots. They just didn't go in. Some of them were complete misses. So again, I don't understand why they went with that game plan. For the Bruins, this was a complete overachievement for the Bruins. There weren't many people that expected them to make the playoffs. I didn't expect them to make the playoffs, but they did, and they fought pretty hard against the Sabres. The Sabres were just too strong. The Sabres beat us in 6 games. I expected us to lose that series. Honestly, I expected us to get swept. The fact that we didn't get swept, the fact that we made it to 6 games, that's good. I think that's something to build on for the Bruins as well. There's really should be no panic there as well with the Bruins either. There should be zero panic with the Patriots. Yes, the situation with Mike Vrabel is not great. However, I felt that situation should not have been made public anyway to begin with. I felt that should have been something that Mike Vrabel and the other parties involved should have been able to take care of it themselves away from cameras. But, unfortunately, it got leaked. So, and, things happen like that in the media. So that's an unfortunate thing. I don't think this leads to Mike Vrabel getting fired. I really don't. Unless something big, as I mentioned yesterday, unless something big comes out pertaining to the story that leads to Mike Vrabel having to leave. But that hasn't happened, and I don't think it will. So I don't want to panic with the Patriots either. And the Patriots, considering what might happen on June 1st or after June 1st, could be in a very, very good spot to compete for the Super Bowl against. So, Patriots, there should be zero worry with the Patriots here. And no, if Mike Vrabel does get fired, Mike Tomlin is not going to take over. It's not going to be Mike Tomlin that's going to be the replacement. My guess is it's going to probably be someone like Bill O'Brien. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, groan. And yes, I join that chorus of groans. Look at what the BC Eagles were last year. Yeah, I'm not too excited. But again, I don't think it's going to be Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin took a job with Sunday Night Football there on NBC. So I don't think he's going to want to back out of that job and take the Patriots job. So again, but this is all hypothetical. I don't think Mike Vrabel is going to get fired. So there you go. That's my kind of breakdown on some of the Patriots and some of the Boston sports kind of thing here. Also, you got the Providence Bruins in the playoffs as well. I think a lot of people should be maybe focusing on that as well. I know a lot of people liked the Lowell Spinners as well when they were around. Well, they're going to be back this month. They're back playing baseball this month. So that's going to be exciting as well. For our local area, the Brockton Rocks are back next. Actually, it's going to be Friday, I believe, or Thursday, I believe, is the first game. So that's going to be exciting as well. There's a lot of good things to look forward to in Boston and area sports as well. I know, yeah, there's some sad stuff as well. You got the Connecticut Sun leaving. That's unfortunate. If people follow the AHL as well, their team in Connecticut is leaving as well. So that's a huge 1-2 gut punch for Connecticut sports. Losing your AHL team and also losing the WNBA Connecticut Sun as well. That hurts. That really hurts for Connecticut. But again, there's a lot of good stuff in New England sports to keep an eye on instead of focusing on the negative. So, yeah, there you go. There's my rant on New England sports. Don't panic. It basically is the underlining thing I want to say here. Don't panic. The future for some of these teams that got eliminated are bright. Are bright for sure for next year, especially the Bruins. I think they're going to have a really good year next year. And especially with potential cap space, they could go off and have a really good offseason as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. 11:30, let's take our news break, and we'll be right back. What do you think, Rod? Did I diffuse the situation, the bombs that are going off in Boston sports?
No.
No. Of course I didn't. It's gonna take that takes a lot. People panic over basically nothing.
Well, certainly.
Breaking news this hour.
But I would say for Bruins fans, they say, well, they got back to the playoffs. That's good.
Yes,
Celtics fans, they're not so happy because they thought they'd go farther.
of course.
Red Sox fans are just miserable cusses because
They're not happy.
that team is not playing well at all.
They're not happy, and their farm system's not playing well. So, yeah, I can see why people are worried about the Red Sox. Everything else, I think these teams have good futures if they play their cards right. You know, of course, the Connecticut Sun situation and the Hartford, the Bridgeport Islanders situation sucks because those two are going to be gone.
Sure.
Bridgeport is going to be gone from this country. They're moving to Hamilton, I believe, is going to be the spot where they're moving to. The Connecticut Sun are moving to Houston. I mean, that sucks. You lose two Connecticut teams in a very short amount of time. That really sucks.
Sure.
And I didn't even talk about the New England Revolution. The New England Revolution are a lost cause.
Well, it's not a lost cause. It's just a niche sport.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we do the sports report in the morning, we mention them,
Of course.
but we don't delve into it.
No, because you don't want to get frustrated with the team because they are frustrating. Their team should be better than they are, but they're not. They really aren't. It's not even worth talking about. That's why I didn't talk about them. Why didn't I mention them? Not worth talking about. Okay. All right, Kentucky Derby, and then MILB update and then go over to some other local events happening after that. It's Monday.
From your first phone call to closing, you're going to get people who know you by name, they know your situation, they treat you like family. They're also offering a free mortgage checkup right now. Don't miss out. Rates are lower now than if you purchased or refinanced your home in the last few years. Many fellowship customers are saving hundreds of dollars for refinancing. There are no payments for 2 months. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. Or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
European leaders have been meeting amid the ongoing wars in Ukraine and the situation in the Mideast.
The European political community is gathering together to meet here in Yerevan, Armenia. It's still a relatively new format, but its purpose is very similar to the European Union, where leaders and heads of state and government gather together and talk about issues. Now, the EU has 27 members. Here, there are around 50 heads of state and government that meet around the big table to talk about all kinds of issues and conflicts. Speaking of conflicts, the conflict of the U.S. and Iran, well, Iran's border is very close to here, and that would probably be just one of the many issues that people talk about when they gather around the big table.
Correspondent Mark Carlson. Ukraine has launched a wave of strikes against Russia's oil export infrastructure, hitting a key loading port on the Baltic Sea and several tankers as well. News and analysis, nowmall.com. Other states may follow Louisiana, which is now delaying House primaries after the Supreme Court's redistricting rulings notice finding the state unlawful to use race, but they created a second majority black congressional district limiting a key element of the Voting Rights Act. Correspondent Laura Winters with reaction from House Speaker Mike Johnson, who is from Louisiana.
Look, the Supreme Court said that in Louisiana's case, it was blatantly unconstitutional. And I think that principle applies probably in other states as well.
House Speaker Mike Johnson encouraging other Republican governors to look into canceling congressional primaries in light of the Supreme Court ruling involving Louisiana. He tells reporters on Capitol Hill.
And I assume that those governors and legislatures are looking at that closely. We want constitutional maps. And I think all states who have unconstitutional maps should look at that very carefully. And I think they should do it before the midterm.
Laura Winters reporting.
The Dow's down 210 points, the NASDAQ 55 points higher. More of these stories at Town Hall.
Okay. All right. All right, we're back here on Middleboro Matters. I am Joey Driscoll. Open phone lines 508-822-1106. Continuing a couple of more things here in our sports segment. Then we're going to move over to a couple of local events happening as well in the area. And then we'll finish the show today by talking about our transportation topic. But open phone lines 508-822-1106. So we'll start off with what I like to call the MILB Roundup, where we talk about what's going on for this upcoming week, not just with the Red Sox organization, but with their minor league teams and some other points of teams of interest as well. So let's talk about that. In the AAA level, again, today is Monday, which means all the minor league teams are off. The only Monday where that does not happen is going to be 3 weeks from today, and that is Memorial Day. There will be, I believe, 5 games, on the docket when we get, and none of the Red Sox teams are going to be in action, other than, I believe, maybe Boston. But none of the minor league teams are going to be in action on Memorial Day. But there will be, I believe, 5 or 6 games, something like that, to talk about. We'll talk about that when we get to close to Memorial Day. But anyway, what is happening for tomorrow? Tomorrow starts a new week. In the MILB, every week there's a 6-game series with the same teams, and that's how it goes. That's how it goes every single week until the end of the year, with some exceptions. Like the first week of the season, they had a 3-game series, something like that. With a lot of the teams. Sometimes it was 4, sometimes it was 2. It depends on when the teams start their season. And I believe at the end of the year, it's probably going to be the same thing. But to start tomorrow in AAA level, you got a pretty good game starting off at 11 a.m. That's going to be the morning game. That's the education game at the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs Stadium at 11 a.m. They'll take on the Buffalo Bison. That's 11 a.m. start there. Worcester will take on the AAA affiliate of the Yankees. That is the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. It's the Red Sox Yankees AAA rivalry, and we can't seem to get rid of Anthony Volpe. If you follow the Portland Sea Dogs, they had a match this week or series this week with the Somerset Patriots, who are the AA affiliate of the Yankees. And Anthony Volpe was playing for the Somerset Patriots this week. He's on a rehab assignment from New York. Is supposed to be back from his rehab. It's probably as early as like today or tomorrow. But apparently they don't have a spot for him right now on that Yankees team. The Yankees team is really firing on all cylinders. They don't really have a spot for Anthony Volpe right now. So they optioned him to AAA, and he's in play for Scranton Wilkes-Barre for the time being. So you get to see a New York Yankee if you go down to Worcester this week and watch one of those games. You get to see a New York Yankee in the lineup there for Scranton Wilkes-Barre. 6:05 start for that game as well. Another game to keep an eye on as well. The best team in AAA right now is Memphis. They're taking on Toledo this week. That's a 6:05 p.m. start. The Durham Bulls, of course, the famous Durham Bulls from that movie all those years ago, several decades ago now. Great movie, by the way. And they're taking on Round Rock this week, 6:45 p.m. start. The late game will be at 10:05 p.m. That will be the Las Vegas Aviators taking on the St. Paul Saints. That's the late game there as well. Another thing to mention as well, if you tune into the Tacoma game, you'll hear a familiar voice doing the play-by-play for Tacoma Raiders. That voice used to be one half of the Portland Sea Dogs commentary table before she left. I'm getting her name off the top of my head, but it was Emma Tiedemann and this other lady as well. This other lady moved over to Tacoma and now is doing the play-by-play for Tacoma. They take on El Paso, 8:05 p.m. start this tomorrow evening. AA. The early game is going to be Somerset taking on Reading, the Fighting Phils of Reading. 11 a.m. start. That's a Education Day game. Portland, they'll start a series back in Maine. They're going to be in Maine. They're taking on the New Hampshire Fisher Cats. So that's going to be a good one. That is a division battle as well. At least an MLB division battle as well. That's an AL East battle. That's the Blue Jays and the Patriots there. Blue Jays and the Red Sox. I don't know why I said Patriots. Blue Jays and the Red Sox. AL East division battle there in the minor leagues. 6 p.m. start for that one. The late game is going to be 7:35 p.m. Eastern. It is Biloxi taking on Columbus, and they'll be in Biloxi for that one. High A now, we take a look at the early game for High A. That's Wisconsin taking on Peoria, 12:05 p.m. Eastern. Greenville has a game with Greensboro. Last year, Greensboro was the best team in High A, the Grasshoppers of Greensboro. And they are have a series with them. 6 o'clock start tomorrow. Greenville is looking to kind of bounce back after kind of a tough series with Hub City. And the late game will be Hillsboro, Washington, taking on Everett, Washington. There, 10:05 start Eastern, 7:05 Pacific. And then you have the single A. Salem is in another education game. Salem's been in a lot of those over the past 2 weeks. It seems like 11:05 a.m. start tomorrow against Marva. They're back in Salem, the Ridgeacs, so that should be a good one. The late game will be Stockton versus Visalia, and that is going to be 9:35 p.m. Eastern, 6:35 p.m. Pacific. So there you go. That's your MILB roundup. Real quick, an update on the Kentucky Derby. As I mentioned, Golden Tempo won it, coming back from last to first to win it. They haven't decided, the trainer and the owners of that horse. They haven't decided if he's going to run the Preakness. The Preakness is going to be on May 16th. May 16th is when that is going to be. That is at Laurel Park in Laurel, Maryland. Usually it's at Plymouth. However, Plymouth in Baltimore, Maryland, right now is under construction. There's several horse racing tracks in this area in the East Coast that are under construction. There's also a big one that will be closing in June, I believe it is, and that is Aqueduct. Aqueduct will be closing in June. That is a big loss for the horse racing community there, losing Aqueduct, but that will be closing down before the end of the spring. And then you have the Belmont. The Belmont is usually in June. I believe the Belmont is also going to be at another location as well. Yeah, so it's going to be at Saratoga as well. And this is going to take place in Saratoga on June 6th. Usually it takes place at Belmont Park. Belmont Park is in New York, in Elmont, New York, but it will take place at Saratoga and Saratoga Springs due to construction at Belmont Park. So there you go. That's your sports there. Let's take our last commercial break right now. When we come back, we'll do a little bit of talking about some other events happening, and we'll finish the show by talking about our transportation topic. We will be right back. That's a shame. The closing of Aqueduct. That's a complete shame.
Yeah.
I think that's unnecessary, but I don't know. It has something to do with consolidation, I think. They want to consolidate the racing.
Yep.
And also probably make room for apartments.
Definitely.
Just like they did with Suffolk. And I mean, it's right in New York City, too. Well, in the New York City area, it's Queens. So.
Joey Driscoll has an amazing program all about Middleboro Sunday mornings
7 a.m. to 8 a.m. It's called Middleboro in Review. He talks about sports. He talks about local events in Middleboro and anything of interest in Middleboro and beyond. So join him, Middleboro in Review with Joey Driscoll, Sunday morning, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Only here at AM 1540 WPPF, 99.7 FM.
Okay. All right, we're back here on Middleboro Matters. All right, a couple of events happening here in the area, especially in Taunton. There are several big events happening this week. Taunton State Hospital Greenhouse will be hosting a farmers market this week, at the end of the week, Friday, May the 8th, 12:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. 60 Hodges Avenue in Taunton will be the location. All are welcome to this event. Again, that's going to take place on Friday, May the 8th, 12:30 to 3:30. Also happening in May is the free yard waste drop-off all month, every Saturday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Convenience Center, 330 East Britannia Street. Drop off your leaves, grass clippings, and branches for free. And also in June, they're going to have a free household hazardous waste drop-off. That will take place Saturday, the 13th of June, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Wind Waste Innovations, 110 Prince Henry Drive. Drop off household hazardous waste for free. Proof of residency is required. No commercial waste, no box trucks. If you have any questions, 508-821-1431 is the phone number to call. That is the DPW. There will be a recycling event for electronics. That's going to take place on Saturday, the 16th of May, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at St. Anne's Parish in the parking lot, 675 North Main Street in Raynham. Free cash donations are appreciated. Bicycles, reusable cell phones, keyboards, tablets, video game, media, and accessories, wires, cables, batteries, chargers, and DVDs. All towns are welcome, rain or shine. If you have any questions, you can contact Green Day Recycling MA at gmail.com. Some of the things that are $5 each, what you can bring to you, what you can bring at a cost to you is as follows. For $5 each, things like computer towers, laptops, DVD players, VCRs, small printers, stereos, radios, alarm clocks, power tools, drills, clocks, trophies, frying pans. $10 each, small household appliances, vacuum cleaners, toaster ovens, ceiling fans, floor lamps, keyboard pianos. $20 each, a flat screen, computer monitor, microwaves, dehumidifiers, air conditioners as well, large printers. $25 each, TVs up to 26 inches, outdoor grills, dorm size refrigerators, and CRT monitors. $30 each is TVs between 26 and 35 inches, white goods, washing machines, dryers, stoves, dishwashers, large yard equipment as well, treadmills. $40 each is a projection TV. That's the only thing that's on this list there. And $35 each is TVs over 36 inches, large refrigerators, ride-on mowers. Cash is preferred. Venmo checks over $30. So there you go. That's the information for that as well. And we got one more thing to mention here, and then we'll take one quick commercial break while I get our transportation topic up and running as well. Taunton area Vietnam veterans Association will have a chicken barbecue May 9th at Dighton Pavilion 138, Route 138 Dighton. That's behind the Town Hall of Dighton. 5 p.m. start. Donation is $20. Tickets, you can contact Tony Rosario at 508-669-6877. Let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back with our transportation topic.
Is a live community-centered radio program that explores the rich cultural histories and contributions of the diverse populations that have shaped southeastern Massachusetts. It's hosted by Louis Laura Fridays and airs from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at AM 1530 and 99.7 FM WBBF. Join Louis for some great hometown conversations, stories, and interviews with people about the traditions that continue to define our area. That's Voices of Our Region with Louis Laura from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here on your hometown radio station, WBBF.
If you are 75 years or older and suffer from food insecurity, the St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry is here to help. We serve the families of Middleboro, Lakeville, Harvard, and Rochester. Please leave a message on our pantry hotline at 508-947-1717. A volunteer will call back to gather some needed information. Obtain your desired list of groceries. These will be collected for you and delivered to your home free of charge. May the good Lord bless you and keep you safe.
Okay, we have 236. 3, 2, 1, 0. And welcome back. We're back here, 11:55 a.m. here, about 5 minutes left in the program. And we're switching over to our transportation topic here to end the show today. And we'll start off with a look at the subway lines here. It's been a little bit since I've talked about it, but Red Line, we'll start with Red Line. Shuttle buses will replace service between Broadway and Quincy Center. That is going to start today. Oh, no, that actually started Saturday. I apologize. It ends today. That's for signal work. Commuter rail service will be fare free. That's between South Station and Braintree for probably through today. Shuttle buses replace service between Broadway and Ashmont beginning at 6 p.m. on Thursday, the 14th of May. And that's going to be going through Monday, the 18th of May, as they continue signal work. And then shuttle buses replace service between Broadway, Quincy Center, and Ashmont. That is from May 29th to May 31st. And that's also due to signal work as well. Commuter rail service will be fare free between South Station and Braintree at that time during that work as well. There are several escalator closures and elevator closures on the Red Line. I'm not going to mention those because we'd be here all day as well. So if you want to look at that, go to the MBTA website because there are a lot of them. For Mattapan, the Mattapan line will have some shuttle buses that will replace service. That's between Ashmont and Mattapan. That begins at 6 p.m. on Thursday, the 14th of May, until the end of service on Saturday, the 16th of May. And that is due to some maintenance work that's taking place. Also, if you're going into Milton, the Milton parking lot will have reduced capacity through the end of next month, and that is station upgrades. Is the reason there. There's a lot of station upgrades happening there at that station. There's nothing really to mention for the Orange Line other than Jackson Square, which I've mentioned many a times. There's a lot of improvements going on at Jackson Square, which should be done by the end of this year. So if you're going on the Orange Line, keep that in mind as well if you're going to be going to Jackson Square. Blue Line, there will be a service that is suspended between Airport and Bowdoin for the weekend, this upcoming weekend, May 9th and 10th. That's for maintenance work. There's a free and accessible shuttle bus that will make stops at Airport, Maverick, and Haymarket. The East Boston Ferry, that'll be operating fare free if you want to take that as well. for that. So one more thing here, we have the Green Line, real quick. And for the Green Line, the C Branch shuttle buses will replace service between Kenmore and Cleveland Circle from May 6th through the 17th of May. That's for infrastructure upgrade. The Green Line on the E Branch service will be suspended between Government Center and Heath. That is from Saturday the 30th of May through Friday, June the 5th. For infrastructure upgrades, regular B, C, and D branch service that will operate during this work. So there you go. Breakdown of all of that happening for May for the subways. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed this program, and I'll be back next Monday for another edition of Middleboro Matters. Bye-bye.
W259DD, Middleboro Center, 99.7 FM, your hometown station.
And begin.
Thank you.
Gotta love it.
I know, right? Here. Log this away. All right. Now I gotta try to end this here. End stream. Yes, end.